The bottom line is he failed to appear. He no-showed. The fact that they're talking about it on television in any context tells you that this is a different company. It certainly opens up a lot of doors in the future for things like talent exchanges and whatnot.
Welcome to WrestleTalk Insider. I'm Ollie Davis and I'm joined by the co-executive vice president of Impact Wrestling, Don Callis.
What's going on, baby?
Baby, I'm fine. I'm more curious about what's going on with you because on Friday evening there was the Impact Wrestling vs Lucha Underground show, and the main event of that was Alberto El Patron and Pentagon Jr. versus Fenix and Austin Aries. But according to reports, Alberto didn't show up. The PW Insider claim that Alberto said he was sick, but apparently in the locker room, it just said that he blew the show off. What exactly happened here?
Well, all I could tell you is kind of what we know, and some of it's been reported. I mean, he was advertised for the main event to the Lucha Underground Impact Wrestling show, which, by the way, was a huge success. And the bottom line is he failed to appear. He no-showed, and in wrestling, we've built, since we've come here in January to take this thing on, we have tried very hard to build trust with the fans. So, that's an important bond to us. And so for us, wrestlers who are scheduled to appear, especially in feature matches, need to do so. So, it really didn't leave us with a lot of options other than to terminate our agreement with him, which we did the following day. And, as with anything, you life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. And, out goes Alberto El Patron, unfortunately, but in comes Pentagon and Fenix, and we had a really great three-way main event with Austin Aries.
Well, that three-way main event at the Lucha Underground versus Impact Wrestling show is also going to be the main event now of Redemption, because of course whatever he is now, Alberto, was meant to face Aries at the show there. In fact, he even had a press conference earlier in the day at WrestleCon where he had a sort of physical altercation, I'm hoping kayfabe, with Austin Aries. Were there any signs there that he might no-show the event later that day?
No, I mean, not that I was party to, but I wasn't around the press conference. I had other meetings that day, so, it's not something I'm aware of, but, it is what it is. I think that, we should be judged on the action that we took, which I think was, for our fans and for ourselves, the only real action we could take.
So you've got, originally it was meant to be Alberto versus Aries at Redemption on April the 22nd. But of course, with Alberto no longer with the company and a lot of footage of him taped in the upcoming weeks of TV, how are you going to work around that and build towards the Fenix Pentagon Aries match rather than the Alberto one?
One of the great things about Fenix and Pentagon is that they are two of the most well-known and much anticipated fighters in the world. People love what they do in the ring, so they bring a buzz with them. So just putting them on the marquee takes care of a lot of your build. I think that, listen, Austin Aries, he wasn't pinned in that match, but he did not pin anybody either. He didn't win the match. So Pentagon did. So I think that we're at a point where there's a significant curiosity factor, and I think the buzz coming off that Lucha Underground show is such that it really sort of promotes itself, in terms of a main event.
But does that mean you'll be pulling Alberto and anything that you did have planned for Impact Wrestling TV of Alberto? Will that be taken off in the forthcoming weeks?
Well, yeah, you certainly don't want to advertise anything for, someone being in a main event who you've terminated your agreement with. So, yeah, we obviously wouldn't be doing that.
Well, like you said, you make a lemonade out of these particular lemons, and you've got some pretty good lemons with Fenix and Pentagon Jr. And this is just the latest stage in the relationship with Lucha Underground and Impact Wrestling, I suppose. Are they now with the company? What does this talent exchange look like?
I think that we tried this concept with working with Lucha Underground. No one really knew exactly how it was going to go, but it went really well. And I think that it certainly opens up a lot of doors in the future for things like talent exchanges and whatnot. These are, as you know, Ollie, things that we were very open to, that I talked about last time on the show, that, we want to work with other companies. So I think it's not just LU, it's other companies. And I think that, when you can intermingle, superstars like Fenix and Penta, all of a sudden, fans are getting a lot of bang for their buck.
You yourself actually got involved in a match at the Lucha Underground Impact Wrestling show. It was the Sami Callihan, Eddie Edwards I Quit match. How has that been involved in it? Of course, it's been one of the more controversial storylines of recent months.
Look, Sami Callihan is an athlete that is a double-edged sword. He's a great wrestler. He garners a lot of attention. He's controversial. But the other side of that is he is reckless at times. He has poor impulse control, and he does not always use the best judgment in situations. Sami Callihan, like so many talents, is all about himself. And I understand that because I was a talent myself, as you know, and I was all about Don Callis. And that's kind of the nature of the business. But that's the role of the talent. The role of management is to see the bigger picture, to make decisions based on the greater good, to take a British parliamentary concept for your fans here. The welfare of the whole is more important than the welfare of the one. So I have no problem with Callihan's style. I don't really even care what he says in the media. But Sami, in a regulated environment in Louisiana, on one of our big platforms on Twitch, Sami looked to recreate a scenario that played itself out in Orlando, where Eddie Edwards almost lost his eye. And I don't know what would have happened. And I don't want to know, because we were very lucky. Lucky Eddie didn't lose his eye. Lucky that there weren't repercussions from what happened in Orlando. And we're not looking to repeat that. I don't care what Callihan does outside the ring per se, but I do care what he does and how it affects our broadcast partners. And so I didn't really see that I had a lot of options. I know it wasn't a popular decision to throw the towel in for Eddie, who was unconscious in an I Quit match. But I felt that Callihan, either for the sheer iconography of it, or for actually following through and trying to do it again, I wasn't sure which, was putting the company in a poor position. I felt like I had to put a stop to it, and that's not a role that I want to play. I don't want to be an on-screen character. It's one of the reasons I wear the mask. So it is what it is, and hopefully we move on from it.
Fast forward in a few days to Monday night, and WWE Raw, with one of TNA's or Impact Wrestling's former stars, Kurt Angle, he mentioned a name that has been banned for a long time in WWE, and that was the initials TNA. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn came in looking for a job on Raw, but Kurt effectively said, "Our tag division's full, but I hear TNA are hiring." Now, of course, TNA isn't called that anymore. It's called Impact Wrestling. How did that go down in the office?
Well, I didn't see it, but of course, it I was made aware of it. I think, frankly, it's part of. I mean, I don't care, but I think, frankly, it's part of. If you look at what's gone on since January, there's been significant strides made with this company, and I think that the fact that they're talking about it on television in any context tells you that this is a different company and reinforces that this is a different company than the one that we inherited in January.
Well, thank you very much for joining us today, Don. Of course, you've got Impact Wrestling on tonight. I believe this will be going out. Well, what can we expect on the show?
Yeah, Impact on 5 Spike, Impact on Pop, Impact on the Fight Network, depending on where you're doing. I think just you're going to see a lot of stuff heating up as we lead up into the Redemption pay-per-view, which is the first pay-per-view under the new regime. So be excited, be diligent, check out all of our platforms, check out our Twitch channel as well, and check me out on Twitter at CyrusOverHuge.
Wicked. Well, we'll speak to you soon.